Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome to today's class, brothers and sisters. Today, inshallah, we'll be talking about Makharijul-Huruf. Now, when we say Makharijul-Huruf, what do we mean by Makharijul-Huruf? We are talking about the points of articulation of letters. As we said previously, it is very important and also a very vital part of Tajwid to articulate letters correctly. That is a very important part. It is even the most important part of Tajwid, to articulate letters correctly and to pronounce them the right way, so that the meaning that you wish to achieve or that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is intending for us to understand in the Quran is what we are actually reciting. Now, when we talk about points of articulation, we've previously discussed that there are 5 places in our speech organ from which we articulate letters, and those places include al-jawf, that is the oral cavity, al-halq, the throat, al-lisan, the tongue, and al-shafatan, the leg, the 2 lips, and al-khushu, the nostrils. Now, I also have said it in our previous class that from these 5 points, there are 17 points of articulation. From these 5 places, there are 17 points of articulation. Now, let's get right into it. Now, for the first part, which is al-jawf, that is the oral cavity. The oral cavity is that hollow space that is between from your neck out of your mouth, that hollow space. And these letters are what are placed from that hollow space, that is the module letters, the letters for elongation, alif mad, waw mad, yaw mad. That is when you say you can say that sound is coming from that hollow part. And what only differentiates one from the other is that the shape of our mouth will make the other sound come out like ooh, e. You see? So the shape of our mouth is what helps us to differentiate between or among them, between them really. So let's continue. The next one is al-halq. Al-halq is the throat. From the throat, there are 3 points of articulation in the throat. There are 3 points. We have this upper part of the throat, we have the midpoint of the throat, and so we have this lower part of the throat. Now, of these 3 parts, the first group here are the hamza and the ha. They are articulated from the same place, which is the bottom part of the throat here. Remember that we have said that to articulate letters and to really get the points of articulation of these letters, you can put alif hamza in front and then put sukun on that letter. So when you pronounce it together that way, you actually know from which points you've articulated the letters. Now the first one here is So when you say you see that that sound is coming from here. Yes. So those 2 are articulated from that aspect, from that part of our throat. Now the next 2 are articulated from the midpoint of the throat. They are coming from the midpoint of the throat. And then the last 2 are from this part, the top part of the throat. You see, that is from this part of the throat that we are splitting these 2. So that is that. Let's go to the next one, which is al-lisan, that is the tongue. As we said that the tongue is the part from which you have most points and also from which you articulate most letters. So from the tongue, we articulate 18 letters. Now, it must be said that the tongue itself has several places of articulation. On the tongue, the tip of the tongue, the midpoint of the tongue, the end of the tongue, the side of the tongue. And even the tip of the tongue, the back of the tongue is also used while articulating letters. The back of the tip of the tongue is also used while articulating letters. And as you know, when we articulate letters, it does not necessarily mean that letters are articulated with from only one point or from only one place, like these 2 have been. Now, these ones, when we articulate them, we actually use other parts as well. We actually use other parts. Now, for example, let's look at the first group here. I put them in groups because there are some that are articulated from the same point. and there are some that their points of articulation are close, not the same but close. Now, this first group, ta, to, and dal, we articulate them using the tip of the tongue, and the root of the incisors. That is the alveolar here, close to the teeth. At, 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 apto, 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 ad. Take note, if you look at where the tip of the tongue is touching that upper part of the mouth, you see that it is that side that is just close to the root of the teeth here. Likewise, this group too. As, so this group, we need the incisors and the tip of the tongue touching the incisors, leaving just a small gap that air comes out from. Now the next one is Zaif, and Sin, and Short. If you look at these three, if you take note in our last lesson, there's something that joins them. There's an attribute that joins them. You remember Asofir, whistling sound. Yes, the three of them. So the three of them, we articulate them using the tip of the tongue and also the upper and lower part of the teeth. Look at it. As. So the three of them, they come together in that manner when we articulate this group. Then we have the lam and the nun. The lam and the nun are not articulated from the same place, but the places are close because the lam is articulated using the tip of the tongue to touch the upper palate, then the upper part of the mouth. And you notice that the point of articulation of nun, that point that the tip of the tongue is touching, is a bit farther behind the point of articulation of lam. It's behind the point of articulation of lam. And try it out yourself and you understand what we're talking about. Then the next one is the raw. The raw requires that we use the tip of the tongue and the back of the tip of the tongue to touch that upper palate, the upper part of our mouth, and we leave for just a little space. And that little space is what now brings about the vibration of that tip of the tongue when we articulate raw. So we have R. Take note that we have said that when you want to articulate raw, don't do R as you pronouncing more than the raw that is there. So R, you notice that the air that is coming out will now make the tip of the tongue to vibrate, as there's only a small space between that tip on the back of the tip of the tongue and then the upper palate, the upper part of the mouth. That is for all. Dog is another very unique letter. It's a very unique letter. Dog is a very, very unique letter in that it is articulated from the side of the tongue. When you pronounce dog, you feel like your tongue is forming the shape of a spoon and the side are coming up a bit. And as if the tongue that is coming up on the side is going forward a little bit. Yes. This requires practice, especially this type of letter. It requires practice and also it requires tutelage. You need someone who is experienced in this, who has practiced it very well and has mastered it to teach you. Don't forget that Tajwid is a subject that you need the tutelage of an ustaz. Why is that? Even if you know the theoretical aspects of these rules, You still need somebody to evaluate you, to assess you. Are you calling it correctly? You may not be able to assess yourself on this. You need someone to assess you when you pronounce it, and to you, you feel, oh, I've pronounced very well. But then, if someone else that is better in Tajwid listens to it, will tell you, no, you're making a mistake here. That is why you need a tutelage and supervisory role. You need the tutelage and supervisory role of an ustaz to help you to master it. May Allah make it easier, inshallah. Now the next group, we have Jim, Shin, and Ya. This next group are articulated from the midpoint of the tongue. When we articulate them, you will see we bring together the mouth, aj, 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 ash, ash, I. So you see that the upper part and lower part of the incisors come together. But then you feel that the sound is coming from the midpoint of the tongue. Ash, you feel that air spread in that midpoint of your mouth. So now the last two are cough and cough. Cough and cough are articulated from the end of the tongue. Their points of articulation are close, not the same. Many students make this mistake with this. Their points of articulation are close, not the same. Cough is articulated from the end of the tongue, closer to the throat, while cough is articulated from the end of the tongue, but closer to the mouth. So you say apple, 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 apple. You see, when you pronounce that, if you pronounce it correctly, apple, apple, you see that point is closer to your throat. But ak for cough, ak, because it's thicker. It's thicker. Yes. So now, that is for these two. Now, on dot, I want to make a reference to some mistakes that people make on this dot. People used to call it door, as in that thick D sound, door, and this is wrong. It's door. Wala dolly, wala do, not wala dolly. That's one of the reasons why you require an ustaz to put you through this. Now let's go to the next group, which is the shafatan, that is the two lips. Letters that we articulate with the two lips. Ba, mim, and waw. Ab, ow. That is the shape of the lip. The two lips is what will bring out that wow. Take note that wow and yaw are not the same as this wow and ya. This wow and ya are tools of elongation. But this wow and ya are consonants that take vowels themselves. So these ones are just tools of elongation that we use the oral cavity to articulate. But these ones are real consonants that can take fatha, kasra, or dhamma. So take note of that, they are not the same, and they are not articulated with the same parts. The next one is the fa. Now, fa is different from these ones in that it only requires the lower lip to articulate fa. The lower lip and the upper teeth. Af. You see, almost touching completely. Just a little space that the air comes out from. Af. Yes, and the last one is al-khayshum, which is the nostril. The nostril is the place from which we articulate nasalization, gunna, nasalization. So the letters that we employ this nostril for are mim and nun. That is, the letters that when you pronounce them, there's a bit of gunna accompanying them. a bit of nasalization accompanying them. And when you are speaking, you see that the sound is also coming from your nostrils. Now, if you want to actually check this, you can close your nose completely and try to pronounce articulate these letters. You see that you will not be able to articulate them fully. So we require the nostrils to articulate these letters because of their nasalization property. That is, they come with nasalization. There are two letters, and if you remember that I told us when we were talking about attributes of letters, that there are some scholars who say that there are 8 attributes of letters that do not have counterparts. And the 8th one was the gunna. And said him and nun have been categorized as an attribute for them. So while some other scholars will say that they are just 7 and they don't categorize gunna as one of the attributes. So however, whichever way, we have known that gunna is nasalization, that is what we bring out through the nose, and these are the letters that we nasalize, or that we employ nasalization when we articulate them. May Allah grant us beneficial knowledge, ease of understanding, and success in all our endeavors. Brothers and sisters, we will call it today here today. However, in our next class, we will be going into the nitty-gritty of Tajwid now, the theoretical and practical aspects of Tajwid. It is important that you stay tuned until that time, inshallah. I'll see you again. I am your friend and brother Abu Zubair. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.